Hello everybody, so this is just a quick video about density and how to achieve it the right way. So as you mix stuff, you try to get clarity. The goal is kind of to boost the highs. In orchestral music we want clarity, cut the mids, boost the highs, and that's good. You probably need to do some of that. But the thing is, if you want bigness, if you want your track to sound huge, you can't do too much of that. It's always a balance thing, because the feeling of bigness and unity in a mix comes from the right balance and the right tonal balance. And so if you just mess with that too much and you just try to extract too much clarity out of everything, it's actually going to sound smaller. Let me give you an example here. So this is my piece, Homecoming. So you can find it on my channel. So let's listen to the climax and you will see what I mean. So it sounds big, right? But that's because the balance makes sense. And the balance is also going to change how certain elements are perceived dynamically. And the envelope will also change, and that's due to masking. I made a video on that already. But for example, if I boost the violins here, just an example. Just 6 dB like this, it's already making the whole track smaller, because now we have all the elements are we're kind of referencing all the elements compared to the violin, because the violin, of course, is the loudest one. And the thing is, it just brings everything else down in comparison. And that's obvious, but the thing is, if you have many elements at the wrong level, say you have, for example, one solo cello that's way above the ensemble strings, or one violin lead or violin ostinato that's way above the rest of the strings, well, these two things can actually ruin your mix. Just even one stem that's too loud can ruin your mix. And the feeling of density really comes from all the elements masking each other and harmonizing the right way. So it's all about that perfect relative balance. And sometimes you want something to stand out a lot, right? It's not every track. But for tracks that need to have a feeling of unity or a feeling of wall of sound, the trailer wall of sound, for example, well, in order to achieve that wall of sound, you need to have each element audible, but not too clear, because if you can make out one element too much, then your ear is only gonna focus on that. So you wanna create clarity with EQ and all that good stuff, but then at some point you need to consider, okay, are my sections kind of equal? If you're trying to create dense sound, well, are my sections kind of equal? Because an orchestra was designed to sort of be balanced between the strings and brass. Woodwinds are a bit more supportive, so they can be quieter sometimes, but solo the strings, solo the brass, it shouldn't feel like there is a big drop for the most part. And from there, if it sounds okay, if it sounds balanced, you're probably in the right direction. But yeah, again, if you just focus even on just the articulation of these violins, even the legato actually feels smoother when it's quieter. It almost feels more portamento because the other stuff is masking these violins. So just this volume difference makes the violins feel bigger, as if there were more players, as if there were so many more players that the legato is actually more blurred, if that makes sense. So that's the effect a few dB can do. I guess the not so obvious thing that I want to highlight in this video is that loud equals small, which might be a bit counterintuitive, but if you have one element that's loud, well, it's all in relation to everything else. So you make the whole track small and less dense. Create clarity, but don't forget unity, because it's always a balanced thing. Alright, see you guys.